Welcome to the Wonder With Me podcast, where I, Dr. Tonia Winchester, invite you to get curious with me about all things mind-body healing, especially how we can unlock the incredible healing power of our unconscious minds, so that we can all get out of stress mode and go back into healing mode. We'll talk about how you can easily create healthy, sustainable self-care habits so that you can calm your mind, sleep deeply, wake rested, and enjoy happy, energized days. Ultimately, so that you can make a bigger difference in your well-being and that of your family and the world around you. These casual chats are for educational purposes only and don't constitute a therapeutic relationship. With all that said, let's get this episode underway. Come wonder with me. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Wonder With Me podcast. I am your hostess, Coach Dr. Tonia Winchester. This is episode number 20 in season 1, the simple trick to get anything you want. In it, I'll share what happened when I overheard my family members talking about me and how it led me to wonder about how it is that some things are easy in our lives and some things seem really hard. So strap in. This is going to be a good one. Recently, I was visiting family and I was in a different room and I overheard them talking and they were talking about me. One of my family members said, "Wow, she's looking really good." And another family member said, "Yeah, she works really hard and she has worked really hard to get there." And my immediate gut response was like, "No, I haven't. No, I don't." So while one person might look at my daily or weekly routine in terms of the exercise that I do, the foods that I choose to eat, the rest cycles that I try to maintain, and all of those things that can make up a healthy physical body, none of it seems hard to me. Yes, I sweat. Yes, I have moments in a workout when I'm pushing myself and maybe I need to take a break. Yes, the odd time, the routine feels like a drag, but overall it's not work. It's physical for sure, in its purest, most physical form, like the laws of physics pure, which is basically the transfer of energy, right? The physical definition of work is the transfer of energy by a force acting on an object as it is displaced. So while I am working physically, it's not work emotionally or mentally. I don't have to convince myself that it's time to work out, that it's time to take care of myself, that it's time to say no thank you when I'm offered something that I don't want to eat because it doesn't make my body feel good. Now for me, the reason these things are not work is because I have a really strong relationship and reason for being well and healthy and fit. Now, as human beings, we're either motivated by moving away from something, so moving away from the pain of something, or moving away from the fear of something, or maybe moving away from the pain and or the fear of not having something. And as human beings, we can also move towards pleasure, towards joy, towards delight. Now, for me, keeping my body fit and healthy is an entirely towards motivation. In contrast, I was talking to a colleague recently and she said to me, everything about exercise for me is about not having a heart attack, not being diabetic, not being hypertensive. Those are all move away froms. She's behaving in a certain way because she doesn't want a specific result or a specific outcome. Now for me, being fit and agile with endurance and flexibility allows me to get into my happy and what I call my spiritual space, which is being present on the dance floor with my dance partner. That place for me is where I am feeling my highest connection to both the divine self within me and the divine beyond myself. So no word of a lie, every time I do a push-up, I'm fortifying in my mind my posture, my balance, my frame so that I can hold up my own body weight in my partnerships. Every time I do a standing qigong meditation where I'm holding my hands like I'm hugging a tree for 10 to 15 minutes, I'm working on practicing the endurance of my frame so that I can stay in a close position with my partner for 5, 6, 7 minutes, as long as the song is. Every time I'm in the forest hiking with my dog, 5, 6, 7 kilometers, I'm managing my resources so I can create a sustainable dance habit where I can be on the dance floor for 3 hours and have the endurance to feel good afterwards. And it's beyond just exercise. Every time I go to bed on time, it's like I'm offering myself a bit of a sleep credit so that I can stay up a little bit later on those nights when I go out dancing. Everything is a towards. It's all about moving towards the pleasure that I get to experience when I'm fully present with my partner, listening to the music, being creative, listening to their leadership, and following as best I can. So when I hear people saying, she works really hard, it might appear that way to some, but the truth is it just feels so easy to me because my motivation is so strong. That present moment that I get to experience in those instances is so important to me. And so having the physical capabilities to be able to express myself in that way, creating a beautiful dance with someone, is what drives me. So here's the thing. If you want new results in your life, it's neurologically better to have the new desired state as a move towards versus a move away. And this is because how the unconscious mind serves us. It takes direct orders without interpretation, and it doesn't process negatives. What this means is, let's use weight release as an example. So if you say to yourself, I'm overweight and I want to be thin, or I hope inside you actually are wanting to be fit, any hoodles, there's this inherent judgment on yourself that the way you currently are is not right, that you're broken in some way, that you're damaged. And as I've expressed in other articles, and I'll link them around this audio, the truth is that your body is expressing what appears to be extra weight as a perfect adaptation to your past circumstances. And that's something that you can consider differently. So it's not actually wrong. It's completely right, actually so perfect. And what happens if you judge it as wrong? It becomes a move away from. And so while the unconscious mind can't process negatives, it says to you, okay, you just told me you don't want to be overweight. Cool. So you want to be overweight. And it essentially says, like the poor farm boy from The Princess Bride, as you wish. And then all of your unconsciously driven behaviors will exist to match that criteria of being overweight. All behavior happens at the level of the unconscious mind. So in a nutshell, your current state, whether that be your health, your relationships, another area of your life, is an exact reflection of what you're focusing on unconsciously. So instead of a move away, if you said, here's where I am, and I'm perfect, and my body's expression is perfect because of the choices I've made in the past to situations I've experienced, the current state I'm in is perfect. And that's the key word, not but, and I also want to fit into a smaller clothing size. This has an entirely different message to the unconscious mind. Now it says in response, cool, so you're perfect, I know that. And also you want to experience being in a different state of perfection. Okay, awesome, let's make that happen as you wish. And if I'm being honest, when I had my first brain-based or mind-body healing breakthrough in the spring of 2021, that was the first of 4 that I've chosen to experience over the next subsequent years, which at the time of this recording is July 2023. I have changed my neurology so that A, there was a real acceptance of where I was, where I had been, and where I wanted to go. And B, the habits to get there became way easier because of A. I talk all about my weight release journey in another post. I'll again link that around this audio. I hadn't realized then that this was an away towards problem. But as I've continued to study NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and other mind-body transformation modalities, I see now that I was very attached to not keeping those 35 pounds on my body. And so my unconscious mind, my uninterpretive servant said, cool, you want to keep those 35 pounds, which we put on to protect you from that old pattern of bullies you were attracting, as you wish. And that tape played unconsciously for 5 years until my first breakthrough, when suddenly I was okay. I was okay. I was okay from my past. I was okay in my present. I was okay. There's nothing like this internal sense of being okay. It's why I love doing this work so much. That sense that clients get after their breakthrough of just being okay. Any hoodles, I was okay. And then my friend told me that she was planning on stopping sugar for 1 year. And I said, cool, I'm into it. I'm joining you. And I did. That habit was so easy. Detoxing from sugar is not a physiologically easy thing to do, but that new habit of avoiding sugar, and I'm talking like no sauces, no sweeteners besides real fruit, no sugar for 1 year. And that was enough, in combination with being neurologically okay, to release 40-ish pounds. I frankly don't actually know exactly the weight I was when I started this process. And interestingly, even though my body weight is stable, aka I'm currently not in a weight releasing mode, my body is still shrinking. And I mean, this makes physiological sense because I'm now more muscular and strong, and muscle mass is more dense than fat mass. So muscle takes up less space. I think it's about 18% less space than fat does. I might have an image of that comparison near this audio. If not, you can totally Google that. There are images online. I will disclaim that when I say fit, for me, that's not about being the smallest person in the room. I mean, sometimes I am the shortest person in the room. It's not about being the tiniest person in the room. That's not what I mean by fit. For me, fit is exactly what I have to have in my physical toolkit so that I can do the things in my life that I want to do. I am able to dance, as we've talked about at length today. I'm able to hike mountains. I'm able to swim for 30 minutes in the ocean. I'm able to do these things, push-ups. That to me is fit. I can do all those things with ease, without pain. That's what I mean by fitness. So I know my body is still shrinking because my favorite line of clothing, named Blue Sky Clothing, definitely check them out. They're this gorgeous, sustainable, people-friendly, body-positive, gorgeous prints on natural fabrics and fibers, bamboo, rayon, linen. I know that I'm still shrinking because when I used to be one size in their brand very consistently, now when I go, I'm trying on smaller and smaller and smaller sizes. Sizes, when I see them on the tag, actually surprise me quite a bit. Anyways, all of that is to say that my fitness routine is easy because of my towards motivation being so strong. It's not even for me about how my body looks. I am liking it, and it's truly more about my ability to have the physical tools and resources that I need to be present in those dance partnerships. Those things like rhythm, flexibility, endurance, the agility, the responsiveness, so having a quick reaction time, balance. All of that helps me to be present in my spiritual space and co-create a beautiful dance with someone else. So the physique changes are an added bonus. It's all incredibly towards. So this has been a lot about me. And I share these stories about myself and my life and my own changes and my transformation to instill hope and inspiration and maybe even some towards motivation for you. So let me ask you this. Wherever you are in your life, can you be okay with it? Can you let it be perfect? Can you accept where you are as a perfect reflection of the choices and situations that have come before? If that's true for you, then you can make easy changes in your life. Moving towards pleasure versus away from pain is the simple trick to get anything you want. Now, if you feel like you can't do that, then I'm here to help. I offer simple, swift, gentle, safe, neurological reprogramming tools that's way less scary than it sounds, that can shift you into that state of being okay, that state of accepting exactly where you are as perfectly perfect. And if you're new to me, you can start by checking out my book called Break Through the Insomnia Cycle: How to Sleep Deeply, Wake Rested, and Enjoy Happy, Energized Days. Even though the book has the word insomnia in the title, it's actually broader than that. It's for people who are stressed, anxious, burnt out, fatigued, in pain, keeping weight on their bodies, stuck in old habits and patterns that they don't want to be in. And the heavy breathing in the background, which you might hear, disclaimer, is my dog fast asleep beside me. If you've got the book, then I invite you to consider that maybe there's something that I can do to help you. You're invited to book a call with me or my team. And what we'll do is we'll spend about 30 minutes together via video and get a deep understanding of where you're at and where it is that you want to move towards. So either way, I got you exactly as you are in your perfection. Thank you so much for listening to this. I can't wait to connect again with you soon. And in the meantime, may you choose to make all your dreams come true. Hey, thanks for wondering with me today. If you've got something good out of this, then please forward this episode along to the people who you know could benefit. Be sure to subscribe, and if you're really keen, you leaving us a rating and review helps us to help more people, so thank you in advance for that. If you're wanting more insights about how you can leverage the power of your unconscious mind to go back into healing mode, head on over to ToniaWinchester.com, where you'll find my book, Breakthrough the Insomnia Cycle, and other helpful ideas. Thanks again, and we'll connect on the next episode of the Wonder With Me podcast. In the meantime, may you choose to make all of your dreams come true.